Welcome to my live news channel. I will update the hottest news 24/7 to serve you. If you see or meaning you like, share with everyone and subscribe. The channel is just below the clip, and do not forget to leave a comment below so I can serve you better. I love you. NBA Finals, Warriors hold off Cavaliers to win Game 1. LeBron James gave it everything he had, repeatedly willing the Cleveland Cavaliers back into the game and even putting them in position to win in regulation, but the Golden State Warriors found their offense in overtime and walked away with an unsettling 124-114 victory in Game 1 of the NBA Finals on Thursday. All the talk coming into the game had been about this being one of the largest mismatches in finals history. The Warriors would be running out a lineup full of all-stars against a Cavaliers team that relied far too heavily on James. But proving that the games are played for a reason, the Warriors barely survived at home despite getting 29 points Stephen Curry, 26 points from Kevin Durant and 24 points from Klay Thompson. Each of the Warriors' stars had their moments, but none could compare to the incredible performance by James, who had a personal postseason best 51 points in 48 minutes. James, who used an enormous physical advantage to dominate on both ends of the court, contributed 8 assists and 8 rebounds to go with his 8th game of this postseason, scoring 40 or more points. He endured a vicious poke to the eye from Draymond Green, and there was seemingly nothing Golden State could do to slow him down as he repeatedly brought his team back from what seemed like the brink of disaster. Unfortunately for James, not all of his teammates were quite as locked in as him. In the final seconds of regulation, with the score tied, J.R. Smith was able to get an offensive rebound of a missed free throw by George Hill, but unaware of the score he dribbled into space, effectively running out the clock. "He thought we were up 1, a frustrated coach Tyronn Lue said at his post-game news conference. The enormous mistake wasted what looked like a plum opportunity to steal a road win from a team that has been accused of ruining the game with its sheer dominance since Durant came in as a free agent. It also left James with nothing to show for one of the best games of his career." Asked after the game at what adjustments the Warriors could make to slow down James going forward, Coach Steve Kerr, as he often does, made light of the situation. "We held back a lot of strategy tonight," he said to a chorus of laughs. "We've got so many things up our sleeves. We're going to shut them down next game." But even with James doing anything he wanted, and Kevin Love looking like a worthy second fiddle as he contributed 21 points and 14 rebounds in his first game since being cleared from the concussion protocol, it still looked as if the talent-deep Warriors would run away with the game after making their typical second-half adjustments. Curry tied the game with a buzzer-beating 38-footer at the end of the first half, one of 3 shots he hit from 29 or more feet away in the half, and a 10-3 run to start the third quarter had the game following a familiar script. Nearly all the hallmarks of a Warriors win were there, including a stat-stuffing line from Green of 13 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 steals and 3 blocks, but James just kept willing his team back, proving that he was not susceptible to the exhaustion that seems to plague so many Golden State opponents in the second half. The Cavaliers, though, were clearly frustrated after an overturned call in the fourth quarter helped swing the momentum toward Golden State, and a horrible mistake at the end of regulation appeared to cost Cleveland what seemed like near-certain victory. The overturned call came on what was initially ruled a charge against Durant. After a review, it was determined that James had committed a foul, and Durant's 2 free throws tied the game at 104-104. James protested the change, and coach Tyronn Lue, in his post-game news conference, said such a decision had never been made in the history of the game on a play outside the restricted area. The overtime reset let the Warriors take a breath and calm down, at which point the defending champions were off to the races. Durant hit a pair of free throws to start the scoring, Thompson hit a three-pointer, and Livingston connected on a mid-range jumper and a dunk in what would be a 9-0 run, and the Warriors closed the extra period having outscored the Cavaliers, 17-7. Kerr, who often shows his frustration with players during games, tried to put his team's struggles in some perspective in light of the victory. "I thought we were pretty good," he said. "I didn't think we were great. I didn't think we were bad. I think we can play better." He added, "But it's not like we came out there and stunk it up." While now in a 1-0 hole in the best-of-7 series, Cleveland could be revitalized by the close game, and has a chance to even things up, and steal home advantage, if they can get a win in Game 2 on Sunday in Oakland. To prevent that, the Warriors must slow down James, which would be much easier if Golden State could get Andre Iguodala back from a bone bruise that has kept him out since Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. He's slowed down some with age, but Iguodala won the 2015 Finals MVP largely for his work in defending James. Here's how the Warriors won Game 1. Overtime, Warriors take the lead. Kevin Durant got the first 2 points of overtime on a pair of free throws. Klay Thompson hit a corner three-pointer and Shunt Livingston sank a mid-range jumper to put Golden State up by 7 in overtime, forcing Cleveland to take a timeout. But with the way this game has gone, no one should count the Cavaliers out just yet. Mark Stein, let's not forget that George Hill missed a potential game-winning free throw before J.R. Smith forgot the score and tried to dribble out the clock. But I still can't believe what J.R. just did. The Cavs are throwing away an absolutely unreal opportunity to steal this Game 1. Fourth quarter, missed free throw leads to overtime. George Hill missed a free throw that could have given the Cavaliers a lead with 4.7 seconds left, and Cleveland's J.R. Smith failed to get a timeout called with time running out. Smith had the ball with seconds remaining, but apparently believed the Cavaliers were leading instead of tied. We're headed to overtime. Both teams are likely frustrated as this game heads to overtime. The Warriors undoubtedly can't figure out how they were unable to get their typical offensive momentum in the second half, and the Cavaliers are looking for answers for how they did not either get a shot off or get a timeout called after George Hill's missed free throw. In truth, this overtime is a huge gift for the Warriors, who for all intents and purposes should have lost the game already. Mark Stein, J.R. Smith has now accounted for a hat-trick of gaffes tonight that he might never live down. Fourth quarter, Cavs refuse to quit. A two-man show by LeBron James and Kevin Love has the Cavaliers in the lead, 104-102. James has been repeatedly getting to the basket and is up to 47 points after the free throw, which comes courtesy of a Kevin Looney foul on James's last basket. Love, who hit his first three-pointer of the game, is up to 21 points and 14 rebounds, and right now Cleveland is firmly in control of the momentum, with Kevin Durant struggling to hit shots on the other end of the court. Fourth quarter, Warriors get hot at the right time. It had been a terrible shooting stretch for the Warriors, but they have suddenly woken up. Draymond Green had not been hitting wide-open jumpers in recent games, but the power forward sank a three-pointer, giving Golden State a lead with just under 5 minutes to play. After a turnover, Stephen Curry also connected from deep. Suddenly the Warriors are leading the game by 6, almost daring the Cavaliers to prove they can rally once again. Mark Stein, no one is ever going to feel sorry for Golden State when the Warriors have 4 All-Stars. But they surely can't wait to get Andre Iguodala back. The hosts are rather fortunate to be up 6 heading into the final 4:37. Fourth quarter, Cavs take the lead. The Cavaliers are now leading 92-91 after LeBron James crossed the 40-point barrier for the 8th time this postseason. With Golden State missing shots and James only looking stronger, this game is wide open. Fourth quarter, three-pointers pull Cavs within reach. After Klay Thompson's free throws, the Cavaliers got 3-pointers by Jeff Green and Kyle Korver, and it's suddenly a 1-point game, which prompted Steve Kerr to call a timeout to try to kill Cleveland's momentum. James has been his typical dominant self, and is the primary reason the Cavaliers are in the game, but the difference between previous series and this one is that his teammates seem to be contributing to the effort in a big way. Mark Stein: Warriors staffers have been insisting to me for 48 hours that this series would not be the cakewalk that so many of us media know-it-alls have been forecasting. I should have listened. The game is totally being played at Cleveland's tempo. Say this for all of the Cavs' flaws, with LeBron leading the way, they know how to function in this environment. Fourth quarter, do Cavs have enough to come back? LeBron James had closed the gap to 4 points with an emphatic dunk, but Kyle Korver got called for a foul on a 3-point attempt by Klay Thompson, and after Thompson sank all 3 shots, the lead is back to 7. The Cavaliers have not wilted at any point, and James continues to do whatever he wants on offense, so this game is far from over. End of third quarter, Cavs support team steps up again. LeBron James spent the last minute of the third quarter getting some rest on the bench, and his teammates once again handled themselves well, outscoring the Warriors 3-2 in just over a minute. The fourth quarter is set to begin with Golden State leading 84-78. Mark Stein: LeBron James has to take a seat on the bench at the end of the third quarter after following up his 11-for-13 start by missing 6 of 8 shots. Was that rest enough to give LeBron gas for a finishing kick? Kevin Love, 16 points, is the only other Cav in double figures. Third quarter, Durant heating up for Warriors. Kevin Durant is starting to look comfortable and is up to 19 points, repeatedly pulling up for jumpers that would be impossible for a player without his height. The combination of a few big shots by him, a 3-pointer by Klay Thompson and dunk by Kevin Looney has Golden State up 82-75 with just over a minute left in the third quarter. It's not exactly the dominance the Warriors showed in the third quarter against Houston, but they are suddenly building a bit of a distance. It will be interesting to see if Cleveland can once again answer the scoring run with one of its own. Thus far they have proved more than capable. Third quarter, Cavaliers storm back. The Cavaliers are not falling into the trap of letting Golden State run away with the game. The early 10-3 run by Golden State in the quarter is a thing of the past, with the teams tied 73-73 after LeBron James and Stephen Curry traded 3-pointers. With just under 4 minutes to play in the third, LeBron James is up to 36 points. Mark Stein: we've played more than half of this third quarter and the Cavaliers are still here to tell about it. Cleveland has slowed the pace nicely. LeBron really is a basketball savant. It's 68-68 and Oracle Arena is in shock. Third quarter, JaVale McGee stays busy. McGee, who was off to a strong start in the half, got the ball under the basket with no one in front of him. The 7'1" center turned, elevated and seemed to forget to bring the ball up. By the time he thought to, it was too late and he had his shot blocked by the rim. It was a play that could seemingly only happen to McGee, who nevertheless had 4 points in 6 minutes of work. Mark Stein: JaVale McGee giveth, and JaVale McGee taketh away. We'll leave it to Ben Hoffman to describe what McGee just did there, because I am struggling for words. Third quarter, Warriors pick up where they left off. JaVale McGee started the second half and has instantly made an impact. His hectic defense against LeBron James, it wasn't pretty, proved effective on one possession, and then he scored consecutive baskets on the offensive end. The fan favorite has helped the Warriors start the half on a 10-3 run. Mark Stein: JaVale McGee, Mr. Vertical Spacing, is having an impact already. Another quality adjustment for Steve Kerr's coaching ledger. Halftime, Curry's buzzer beater ties it up. Stephen Curry got the ball in his hands with just seconds to play in the first half and he launched a 38-footer that would have been a ridiculous attempt from any other player in the NBA but was basically a layup for him. The ball found its home as time expired and the Warriors went into halftime tied with the Cavaliers, 56-56. If a monster third quarter for Golden State is coming, then Cleveland is in trouble. The Cavaliers were terrific in the first half, getting a typically gargantuan performance from LeBron James, who had 24 points and 4 assists. They also got 12 points from Kevin Love, and they even outscored the Warriors while James took a short rest. But they are going into halftime having lost what was at one point an 11-point lead, and with the Warriors typically hitting their stride coming out of halftime, that could be a major issue. Curry has looked as strong or stronger than he ever has in a finals game, with 18 points and 6 assists, while Kevin Durant has not displayed his typical dominance, with 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting. Mark Stein: dare I say LeBron is milking that shot to the face just a touch. But he's up to 24 points in a near-flawless first half, flawless until the flammable Stephen Curry got loose for a 38-footer at the buzzer. 56-56 all at intermission. As Ty Lue noted in his media address Wednesday, Golden State's favorite quarter is Cleveland's worst. How the Cavs cope in the first 6 minutes here is key. The problem: Stephen Curry is already dialed and the third quarter hasn't started yet. Second quarter, Green's hard foul puts James on the floor. Draymond Green picked up his third personal foul of the game in a hard collision with LeBron James under the basket in which Green's left hand hit James directly in the face, resulting in James being on the court for a few moments to collect himself. Green received his 4th technical foul of the postseason and headed to the bench. Second quarter, even with James on the bench, Cavs execute. Coach Tyronn Lue clearly had a plan with that timeout. LeBron James came out of the game for a rest with the score 44-40 in Cleveland's favor. An immediate three-pointer by George Hill, a steal followed by a Larry Nance Jr. dunk and a mid-range shot by Kevin Love had it 51-40 before Klay Thompson ended the run with a three-pointer. By the time James checked back into the game with 3:07 remaining, Cleveland had outscored Golden State by a score of 7-5 in his absence, which is something the Cavaliers are almost never capable of doing. Second quarter, it's all offense so far. The timeout appeared to reset the Warriors, who went on a quick 5-2 run that forced Cleveland to take a timeout of its own. The little burst included Klay Thompson hitting a 26-foot three-pointer, showing no ill effects from the collision earlier. LeBron James is up to 20 points already on 8 of 9 shooting and has chipped in with 4 assists as well. Second quarter, Warriors have no answer for LeBron James. The Warriors, trailing by 7 points, called a timeout with 7:48 remaining in the quarter. The most notable problem on Golden State's end is probably Kevin Durant not making an impact, with only 6 points in 13 minutes. But the far bigger problem is Golden State not being able to slow down LeBron James at all without Andre Iguodala out. He has been able to do anything he wants offensively. The Warriors need to do something to break his rhythm because expecting him to wear out like James Harden did in the Western Conference Finals is not a good strategy against the tireless James. Mark Stein: where is the Golden State defense? Translation: where is the Golden State focus and effort? The Warriors just held the Houston offensive juggernaut under 100 points in 5 straight games. But they're not playing with anything close to the same level of focus. Might they be waiting for the third quarter? For the record, I am not feeling the suit shorts LeBron wore when he strolled into Oracle Arena tonight. And, yes, I secretly dream of writing for the knit-style section. Second quarter, Cleveland winning battle of the boards. The early second quarter has been much of the same, with Cleveland continuing to push the ball offensively and make Golden State pay for any missed shot on the other end of the court. The rebounding advantage is currently 13-7 in Cleveland's favor and they are exerting their size advantages all over the places, leading a 5-point lead. Mark Stein: feel out game? LeBron is just feeling it. Period. He's 6 for 7 from the field after finally missing an elbow jumper. Second quarter, Klay Thompson returns. Klay Thompson came back to the Warriors bench with just over a minute left in the first quarter, and the crowd in Oakland exploded in huge cheers for the popular shooting guard. He was back on the court for the start of the second quarter but came up well short on a three-point attempt. End of first quarter, LeBron James, Kevin Love lead Cavs. Both teams are playing hard on both ends of the court, both are shooting better than 55% from the field, and a spirit of competitiveness is alive in Oracle Arena as the Cavaliers have repeatedly been able to answer any basket by the Warriors. At the end of the first quarter they lead, 30-29. LeBron James leads all scorers with 12 points while Stephen Curry has 11. In a huge development for the Cavaliers, Kevin Love is just behind those leaders with 9 points on 4 of 7 shooting. The question going forward is if this quick pace is something Cleveland can keep up with all game. Throughout the playoffs, Golden State's opponents have tended to get worn out in the second half. Mark Stein, LeBron James has often described Game 1 as his feel-out game. But there's much less need for feeling things out when you're playing the same team in the finals for the fourth consecutive June. An aggressive James has 12 points after a quarter, and those underdogs from Cleveland just recorded a 30-point opening quarter against the supposed Invincibles. First quarter, Cavs keeping pace with Warriors. Cleveland has continued to keep pace with Golden State, not letting what could be a back-breaking play, like Nick Young managing to score off an inbound pass with just 1.5 seconds left on the shot clock, break their spirit. They have gotten strong play from Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, supporting LeBron James more than we have seen in the previous few series. Klay Thompson is being taped with a left lateral contusion on his leg and is expected to be available to return. His being out of the game for any length of time undoubtedly hurts the Golden State offense, but with Stephen Curry in a shooting groove, the length of time Thompson is out will have more of an effect on defense. Young can play better defense than some people may think, but he's definitely a downgrade from Thompson. Mark Stein, lateral leg contusion. Not words Golden State wants to hear these days when the same injury has sidelined Andy Iguodala for the past 5 playoff games. But ESPN's Doris Burke says Klay is expected to return. And Thompson is known for being ultra-durable. First quarter, Klay Thompson to the locker room. Klay Thompson has come out of the game after a collision with J.R. Smith with 6:17 left in the first quarter. Smith appeared to slip and, in the process, awkwardly twisted Thompson's left leg. Thompson is headed back to the locker room to be examined. Mark Stein, that J.R. Smith takedown of Klay Thompson had some shades of Sergio Ramos vs Mo Salah in the Champions League final. The intent wasn't there on J.R.'s part, accidental slip. But it might have the same effect depending on how seriously Thompson is hurt. Smith couldn't control his footing because of the slip, but he also didn't exactly have a play on the ball. Another entry in JR's reckless postseason. First quarter, scoring comes in bunches early. A deep three-pointer and a driving layup by Stephen Curry, an alley-oop to Kevin Durant and a 16-footer by Klay Thompson had the Golden State offense humming along at a solid clip early in the first quarter, but Cleveland held strong thanks, unsurprisingly, to LeBron James and Kevin Love, and the Cavaliers were leading 15-12 at the game's first break in action. Golden State has been aggressive on both ends of the court, forcing a few turnovers, but Cleveland has just pushed the ball steadily toward the basket and has worked to keep the Warriors off their rhythm. Just before the break in action, Golden State was breaking across the court for what would have been a mismatch on offense and Cleveland broke it up with a smart foul. For all of the talk of the mismatch, the veteran Cavaliers do not look the least bit scared so far. Mark Stein, let's see if this pace is something Cleveland can really continue to keep. The Warriors are far better conditioned to run up and down this way. The Cavaliers are humming offensively, but they typically flourish in this building when the game is grind-wide. They're also getting no stops early, as feared. First quarter, first points scored by LeBron James. Tristan Thompson won the opening tip over Kevin Looney, and the Cavs moved the ball around quite a bit before Kevin Love missed an opening mid-range jumper. Golden State lost the ball on a turnover, and LeBron James put in a layup for the first 2 points of Game 1. The 2018 NBA Finals are officially underway. Do you feel that my live news channel has met your requirements? If so, what do you think you like? Share with everyone and subscribe to the channel right below the clip, and do not forget leave a comment below so I can better serve you. When you need some news, come back to my channel. I love you.